Good morning, class. Today we are working on Unit 3, Lesson 3, Remembering. And this is review today, so you will see in the first part, numbers 1 through 6, we will be working on comparing fractions as review. In 7 through 12, you will be comparing decimals as review. And 13 through 21, you will be multiplying fraction by a whole number. And you can go ahead and put an X through stretch your thinking. So you have 21 problems to complete today, and I'm going to do a couple of them with you. All right, so in numbers 1 through 6, you are comparing fractions, and let's go ahead and choose one that's going to have a larger number. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 reads 8/10, and you're comparing 8/10 to 6/8. And if you have your multiplication tables down pretty solid, you're going to know that 8 times 5 is equal to 40, and you'll know that 10 times 4 is equal to 40. And remember, anytime you're comparing fractions, we have to get a common denominator. Okay, so this is going to be, this side, we're going to multiply top and bottom. Remember, whatever you do to the top or to the bottom, you have to do to the opposite. So top and bottom, we're going to multiply those both by 5. Okay, and 8 times 5 is equal to 40, and 6 times 5 is equal to 30. And now I need this denominator, which is a 10, to become 40 as well. So 10 times 4 is equal to 40. And then I have to multiply the top, or the numerator, by 4 as well, and 8 times 4 is equal to 32. Now I have a common denominator of 40 on both sides, and I'm now comparing 32/40 to 30/40, and I can see that 32 is larger than 40. Okay, and so number 3, sorry, I lost my place there. Number 3, it's 8/10 is greater than 6/8. Go ahead and look at one more in this section together. Let's look at number 4 together. Okay, number 4 reads 6/7, and I'm comparing 6/7 to 7/8. And again, I need to find a common multiple between 7 and 8, and I'm just going to multiply 7 times 8 to figure out a common denominator. I know that 8 times 7 is equal to 56, and I know that I have to do the same thing to the top, multiply by 7, and 7 times 7 is equal to 49. And now I need to go over the other way, and 8 times 7 times 8 is equal to 56, and 6 times 8 is equal to 48. Now I'm comparing 48/56 to 49/56. And I know that 49 is bigger than 48. So remember, the alligator mouth eats the bigger number. And so for number 4, we know that 6/7 is less than 7/8. And there's your answer for 4. I'm going to go ahead and erase, and we'll look at some comparisons of decimals. All right, let's go ahead and just look at number 7. In number 7, we have 54/100. And we are comparing 54/100 with 65/100. And I always recommend, like we practiced in our decimal unit, to line them up so that you can see the difference or the change in between the two to be able to compare. Okay, and so we have 54/100, and underneath that we have 65/100. And remember, you start on the left side and work your way to the right. So you start over here and then you work your way to the right until you find a difference. There's no change in the ones place, they're both zeros. Okay, and there's a change right here. And which one is bigger? We can see this one has 5 in the 10th place and this one has 6 in the 10th place. So we know that 65/100 is larger because in the first place where there's a change, the 6 is larger than the 5. Okay. Let's go ahead and complete number 12 together as well. This is one where somebody almost always gets tricked. Okay, this one reads 6/10, and we're comparing 6/10 to 6/100. Okay, and again, numbers look very similar, but they are not the same number, and so line them up. You have 0.6, which is 6/10, and then you have 0.06. Okay, start on the left side. work your way right until you see something that's not the same. Okay, we have 0 and 0 in the ones place. In the tens place, we have 6 and 0. Okay, obviously the 6 is larger, which means 6/10 is greater than 6/100. All right, we're going to look at 13 through 21, and these simply say multiply. So you're going to need to make sure that you're writing these as mixed numbers and not leaving them written as improper fractions, because yesterday the directions had you write them as fractions or leave them in fraction form as improper fractions, and here we're going to not do that. We're going to go ahead and finish it out and complete them as mixed numbers. Let's go ahead and complete number 13 together. Number 13, we have 4/5 times 20. And we know that in order to make 20 a whole number, a fraction, we write that over 1. Okay? Then we can simply multiply straight across, or you can cross reduce. And in this case, I'm going to cross reduce because I know that 5 can go into 20, so I can cross reduce here. 5 can go into 5 one time, so the 5 becomes a 1. 5 can go into 20 4 times, so the 20 becomes a 4. So now what I have is 4 over 1 times 4 over 1, and 4 times 4 is equal to 16, and 1 times 1 is equal to 1. So my answer is 16 over 1, and 16 over 1 is equal to 16. So your answer for number 13 is 16. Go ahead and complete number 20 together. Okay, in number 20, we are multiplying 8/10 times 80. And in order to make 80 a fraction, I'm going to write that 80, that whole number, over 1. This is one where I'm going to want to cross reduce because I don't want to multiply 8 times 80, okay, and then have to reduce it later. So here I'm going to cross reduce because I know 10 can go into 80 evenly, okay. 10 can go into 10 one time, so I'm going to cross out my 10. It becomes a 1. 10 can go into 8 times, or into 80 8 times. Okay, and so I'm going to cross out my 80 and write my 8. Now I have 8 times 8, and 8 times 8 is equal to 64, and 1 times 1 is equal to 1. And so my answer is 64, because 64 over 1 is equal to 64. And that is number 20. We're going to complete one last problem together before I let you head off on your own. Let's go ahead and look at number 21, just as extra practice. We have 3/9, and we're multiplying 3/9 by 45. In order to make 45, which is a whole number, a fraction, I'm going to write that number over 1. Okay, and here I'm going to cross reduce again because I know that 9 is a factor of 45, or 9 can go into 45 because 9 times 5 is equal to 45. So I know 9 can go into 9 one time. So cross out my 9 and make it a 1. I know 9 can go into 45 5 times. So cross out my 45 and make it a 5. Now I can do my multiplication. 3 times 5 is equal to 15, and 1 times 1 is equal to 1. And 15 over 1 is equal to 15. All right, kiddos, I hope you're ready to rock and roll on this review. Make sure you complete the entire page with the exception of stretch your thinking. You were able to put an X through that. Once you've completed it, check your work, take a picture, attach it to your assignment, and turn it in on Teams. Thank you.